Like, that guy is insane. That guy's knocked out two of the greatest featherweights of all time, Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Nobody could knock those guys out in featherweight before, and he did it. And he did it, and he made it look easy. And with Ilia, it's everything. It's his submissions, his kicks, his punches, everything. He can do anything. I mean, he does everything perfect. All his technique is perfect. He's driven and ultra confident.
Nocauteou o Max Holloway, né? Na última luta dele. Então, é um cara que é perigoso, né? Tem um jiu-jitsu que todo mundo fala que é bom, ele ainda não usou no UFC.
Big Ilia, man. I think he's going to be way undersized against Charles. Unless Charles can sub him, maybe if he hurts.
With just 8 days left until the highly anticipated Ilia versus Charles fight, Joe Rogan has shared a shocking breakdown of UFC 317. Meanwhile, Charles Oliveira believes that his upcoming bout with Ilia Topuria is a moment of destiny, one that was always meant to happen. When asked if Topuria has shown him the same level of respect, Oliveira replied that he doesn't think so. He feels Topuria has been doing a lot of talking, but he's not too concerned, knowing the truth will be revealed when they step into the octagon on June 28th. As for how he wants to win, Oliveira isn't focused on a specific method like a knockout or submission. For him, what matters most is getting the victory. Confident that this win is meant to be, he sees it as another pivotal step in building his legacy.
Feel like he's given you that same respect in the lead up to this fight?
No, definitely not.
I don't know. He's been saying a lot, but the fact of the matter is we're going to find out on June 28th. Everyone knows who the real champ.
You talk a lot about legacy. You've mentioned it multiple times. What is the best way to win this fight for your legacy? Is it to knock out Ilia? Is it to submit him? Is it to dominate him for 5 rounds? What is going to be the best result for Charles Oliveira's legacy?
I just want to win. You know, that it's meant to be.
In a recent podcast, Joe Rogan talked about the upcoming fight between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, saying this is a phenomenal time in UFC history. He believes MMA is entering a wild and exciting era, and he praised Ilia Topuria for knocking out 2 of the greatest featherweights of all time, something no one had ever done before in that division. Rogan said Topuria made it look easy, which shows just how talented and dangerous he is. According to Rogan, this is an amazing time for the sport, as new fighters are joining the UFC and already looking like world-class contenders after just one
at the end
fight.
of the month. That guy is insane. That guy's knocked out 2 of the greatest featherweights of all time, Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Nobody could knock those guys out in featherweight before, and he did it. And he did it, and he made it look easy. You know, he made it look like they're like he's just on another level from everybody. You know, and then now he's moving up to 155 pounds. He's like decided he cleared out that division. He's moving up. Like, he's
insane, yeah.
insane. There's guys like that are just their level is above everybody else's level. And with Ilia, it's everything. It's his submissions, his kicks, his punches, everything. He can do anything. I mean, he does everything perfect. All his technique is perfect. He's fucking driven and ultra confident. You know, this is an amazing time for the sport. It's a crazy time because these guys that are coming in with like one fight in the UFC, they look like world-class contenders, like right away.
Joe Rogan also spoke about Charles Oliveira, calling him a monster and one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC today. He explained that people often forget just how dangerous Oliveira really is because of his past losses, but the reality is that Oliveira has improved tremendously over the years. Rogan pointed out that Oliveira entered the UFC when he was just 20 years old and has recently grown into his prime. He believes Oliveira has figured everything out, and fans need to stop focusing on who beat him in the past and instead recognize how far he has come.
Not being a monster because there's times that people have beaten him, but he got better. You got to accept that and not think of like when he lost.
But so many people, who gets better at 35?
I don't believe he's 35.
No?
I think he's 33, and I also think that he got into the UFC when he was 20. But he came into his own over the last few years, which kind of makes sense. Like, he figured it out. So part of the problem was like he was learning and developing and growing as in an elite organization.
On the other hand, Charles Oliveira acknowledged that Ilia Topuria is a dangerous opponent with an aggressive boxing style, always moving forward and throwing sharp combinations. He pointed out that Topuria knocked out Max Holloway in his last fight, which proves just how powerful and skilled he is. Oliveira also mentioned that while Topuria is known for having strong jiu-jitsu, he hasn't really shown it in the UFC yet. Still, Charles isn't focused on what Topuria brings to the table, he's focused on himself. He's grateful for the opportunity and sees this fight as another pivotal moment for his legacy.
Mãos, andando pra frente. Ele é um cara perigoso, nocauteou o Max Holloway, né? Na última luta dele. Então, é um cara que é perigoso, né? Tem um jiu-jitsu que todo mundo fala que é bom, ele ainda não usou no UFC, mas falam que é bom o jiu-jitsu dele. Então, assim, cara, de verdade, eu tô preocupado com o que eu posso levar pra dentro do cage, quanto que eu tô feliz, né, com mais essa oportunidade, né, mais algo gigante.
Ilia Topuria also believes that Charles Oliveira's fighting style is a perfect match for him to secure a first-round finish at UFC 317. He showed respect by calling Oliveira a great and legendary fighter, one of the few still active at such a high level in the UFC. But despite that respect, Topuria made it clear that he intends to put him to sleep in the very first round. Charles is a great fighter. I'd say he's a legendary fighter, one of the few still active in the UFC, Topuria stated, but the truth is, his style fits perfectly with mine for putting him to sleep in the first round because he has no mobility. He doesn't move. Ilia Topuria also sent a strong warning to Oliveira recently ahead of their highly anticipated title fight. In a training video, Topuria showcased his powerful punches and sharp boxing skills, confidently telling Oliveira to bring a pillow because he plans to put him to sleep. The undefeated featherweight champion made it clear that he's not just looking to win, he's aiming to finish the former lightweight champion in dominant fashion. However, Charles Oliveira isn't bothered by Ilia Topuria's trash talk. He said he's been in the UFC for 15 years and has heard it all before. Once seen as a kid among lions, he now sees himself as a lion among lions. Oliveira explained that while others talk, he stays focused on training and getting better. He shrugged off the criticism, saying he has proven doubters wrong time and time again, from questions about his toughness to skepticism about his knockout power. He has silenced critics every step of the way. Oliveira made it clear that no amount of talk can shake his focus or confidence going into UFC 3.
Tudo que a gente fala, você tá ligado. Que a gente fala, você tá ligado, né? Mas tudo burburinho, né? Mas eu acho que já passou a fase disso, né? São 15 anos dentro do UFC, né? E eu entrei um menino lá dentro, eu era só um moleque lá dentro, igual eu tudo que eu falei pesa, né? Eu sou só um menino no meio dos leões. Hoje eu me sinto um leão no meio dos leões. Um leão diferenciado, um leão embaçado. O último, o Charles desiste. Eu fui lá e atropelei. O último, o Charles não tem mão. Eu fui lá e nocauteei. O Charles não tem não sei o que lá. Eu fui lá e fiz. Então eu acho que assim, é tão bagulho, são tantas coisas loucas que, tipo, se a ideia é essa de ficar falando, de ficar cogitando pra ver se vai me abalar, cara, tipo, eu vejo os negócios, tipo, se é que vocês estão longe, vocês não estão vendo, mas se você perguntar pros meninos que andam comigo, você vê, tipo, eu dou risada, tá ligado? Porque são coisas tão irrelativas, enquanto eles estão falando, eu tô treinando...
Charles Oliveira also responded to Ilia Topuria's bring a pillow comment, saying he's heard this kind of talk many times before. He explained that over the years, many fighters have tried to get into his head with words, but when the fight was over, it was always his hand that was raised. For Oliveira, the trash talk doesn't matter. What really counts is what happens inside the cage.
De levar o travesseiro pra luta, O que ele não pode esquecer de levar?
Cara, você sabe disso, não adianta o que eles vão falar. Pra mim não faz diferença, irmão. Eu acho que só Deus sabe das coisas que pra acontecer, né? Dia 28 agora de junho, né? A gente vai se enfrentar. Eu acho que eu sou um problema tanto pra ele ou pra qualquer um que vai lutar. Eu sou um cara que tem o poder de fogo nas mãos, um cara que tem um jiu-jitsu absurdo. O que o Topuria tá falando, ou qualquer outro cara tá falando, pra mim não faz diferença de nada. Você já viu essa novela várias vezes, muitos deles que falaram um monte de coisa e você sabe o que aconteceu no final, foi o braço que foi levantado, então não faz diferença.
Charles Oliveira made it clear that he is not the type to constantly post online or talk trash to hype up a fight. He knows what he needs to do: stay focused, keep training, and be ready for June 28th. With just a few days left, he's choosing to stay close to his loved ones and remain dedicated to his preparation. Oliveira admitted that talking more might earn him more money, but that's just not his style. He doesn't know how to sell a fight with words and prefers to do things his own way. For him, the real selling point is what happens inside the cage.
Eu sou aquele que tem que ficar postando, aquele que tem que ficar falando, aquele que tem que fazer. Eu sei o que eu tenho que fazer, o trampo é dia 28, então eu tenho que simplesmente se focar e tá pronto. Tem 2 semanas para isso acontecer, então eu só tenho que estar feliz, perto das pessoas que eu amo e treinando e me dedicando. Mas se você falar que você ganhava muito mais dinheiro, fazer o quê? Eu não sei fazer isso, eu não sei falar desse jeito, eu não sei vender a luta dessa forma. Não é o meu jeito de vender, então deixa eu ganhar o dinheiro que eu tô ganhando, que é o único jeito que eu sei fazer dessa forma, tranquilo pra minha. Na hora que fecha o queijo lá dentro, eu sei o que tem que fazer, que é andar pra frente, botar minhas mãos e aí, no final de tudo...
On the other hand, lightweight legend Dustin Poirier shared his thoughts on the Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira matchup, expressing concern that Topuria might be too small for Oliveira. He believes Oliveira's size and submission skills could cause serious problems, especially if Charles hurts him early. However, Poirier also pointed out that Oliveira tends to take a lot of damage, and with Topuria's knockout power, that could be dangerous. Overall, he's excited to see how the fight plays out.
I think Ilia, man. I think he's going to be way undersized against Charles. So unless Charles can sub him, maybe if he hurts him, but it's going to be tough, I think. Because Charles gets hit a lot, and Ilia puts people away. I'm excited about it.
Michael Bisping also shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. He praised Oliveira as one of the most exciting and skilled fighters in the lightweight division, highlighting his aggressive action style that fans love to watch. However, Bisping pointed out a potential weakness: Oliveira's tendency to move forward with little caution, comparing it to walking through fire without fear. While that fearless mindset has earned Oliveira many finishes and performance bonuses, Bisping warned that it could be dangerous against someone like Ilia.
Oliveira is an exciting fighter, and he is one of the best in the division and one of the most exciting. But it's the exciting style that he has that will give me cause for concern if I was coaching Charles "Du Bronx" Oliveira. The way that he walks forward like a buzzsaw, with reckless abandon, the not giving a damn attitude, it's beautiful to watch. It's very, very entertaining. Nobody will be booing when Charles Oliveira fights, okay? But it's that reckless style that might get him clipped. Charles Oliveira, as we know, he's got the most bonuses, most finishes, most
5 minutes later.
Right? The man's excitement personified, but he takes a lot of chances.
Michael Bisping broke down the stylistic clash between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, highlighting Topuria's composed approach, marked by a tight guard, sharp footwork, crisp head movement, and a low stance that allows him to control the pace. He explained that this technical style could be dangerous for Oliveira, who often moves forward aggressively with his chin high and head on the center line. While Bisping praised Oliveira's exciting, fan-friendly style, he warned that it can leave him open to getting hurt, something a powerful and precise striker like Topuria could easily take advantage of.
On the flip side, he's clean, he's composed, he's calm, he's in the moment, the hands are high, the base is low, the head is moving constantly, and he's looking at his opponent. He's tracking him down across the octagon. He's using the feet to corral him against the fence. He's looking for openings, and then he explodes. And when he explodes, we know he's got big power. He might explode the chin of Charles Oliveira. Whereas Charles Oliveira, on the flip side, with the shooter box style, he's walking forward. The head's on a straight line, and he's just chin's a little up, he's throwing knees, he's throwing elbows, he's throwing everything but the kitchen sink, and we absolutely love it. But that's got him in trouble before.
Michael Bisping also emphasized that Charles Oliveira is one of the toughest and most dangerous fighters in the game. He warned that if Ilia Topuria doesn't finish him early, Oliveira has the ability to quickly shift the momentum. With elite finishing instincts, Oliveira can snatch a neck, land vicious elbows and knees, and secure submissions from almost any position. Bisping stressed that even a small mistake could be enough for Oliveira to take over.
Oliveira, as we know, the man ain't no bitch. He ain't no bitch. And you better hope that it does explode, because if it doesn't, he's going to grab you by the neck, he's going to drop elbows in your face, he's going to knee you up the middle, and if you make one mistake with Charles Oliveira, boom, it's over. Quick as a flash, he's throwing on a submission, Goga platters, omoplatters, triangles, reverse triangles, you name it, heel hooks, knee bars, whatever, okay? If you make one mistake with Charles Oliveira, and it is all
John Anik is also looking forward to seeing how Ilia Topuria performs against a legend like Charles Oliveira. He reminded fans not to overlook Oliveira's experience and ability to thrive in dangerous situations. Despite Topuria's rising momentum, Anik pointed out that with Topuria moving up in weight and stepping onto the big stage during International Fight Week, this will be a major test, a pivotal moment that will reveal whether Topuria is truly ready for greatness.
Dude, is Ilia Topuria getting the red corner? I mean, my goodness. Can we put some respect on the name Charles Oliveira? No, it's a fascinating fight. Yes, Justin Gaethje, who's the hardest man he's ever been hit by in all of his fights, and it's Charles Oliveira. And I'm just excited to see what Charles can do, because the betting line suggests that he's up against it. A lot of Charles's contemporaries are suggestive that this is a custom-made matchup for Ilia Topuria. He's taken on the most decorated finisher in UFC history and the man who reigns supreme atop this weight class. So, fascinated to see it, and I think my biggest takeaway with Topuria is just the way guys like Kenny Florian talk about him in such superlative terms, and we'll see if he can live up to the hype. I'm excited to see him in the division, not cut too much weight, and great way to sort of usher him in, headlining International Fight Week for the soon-to-be vacant UFC lightweight title.
Arman Sarukian shared his thoughts on UFC 317, acknowledging that Charles Oliveira is an incredibly dangerous fighter, especially with his ability to secure submissions from almost any position. However, he pointed out that Oliveira doesn't have strong freestyle wrestling and will likely struggle to take down someone like Ilia Topuria with ease. Sarukian believes that while Oliveira can be dangerous off his back, Topuria's superior boxing and solid takedown defense will allow him to keep the fight standing, giving him a clear advantage in the matchup. So, guys, subscribe to my channel for more new updates.